So my dad's gonna take me out to lunch for pizza. I honestly can't remember the last time I even ate pizza. It's probably been more than 5 years. Definitely can feel some anxiety coming up. I'm both excited and nervous. I've definitely convinced myself that eating pizza is almost evil for a really long time, and that it would hurt my health and prevent my gut from getting better and would make me fat. Through my recovery, as I've explained to you guys, I have to challenge my fear foods. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna end up wanting to eat them every single day. It just means that I want to, like I said in my last video, I want to feel human, and I want to be able to go out with friends and family and enjoy food once in a while. And so I am pretty excited, and I think it'll be fun, and it's just one step closer to my recovery. So here we go. Okay, finally eating pizza. Oh no, it's video. Say hi, Dad.
Hello.
Happy food dance. So we just got back a little bit ago from eating pizza, and oh my gosh, it was delicious. And I was so happy. And I don't remember eating pizza like that without feeling restricted since I was a little kid. And I'm 30 years old, so that was super, super awesome. And I actually, I feel full, but my stomach doesn't hurt, and I don't really feel that bloated, and I just couldn't be more excited. And I just really see that this recovery process is working. So if you're going through it, stick with it. I promise you it does get better. I'm just so excited right now. Hey guys, Mighty Mouse here, Jessie Riemann. If you haven't noticed by the music and my sweatshirts, I love the 80s. So you saw in the first clip that my dad took me to pizza, and it's something that I have not allowed myself to eat for years and years and years, like I said, without guilt or stomach pain, and so that was a major win. And so I just wanted to talk today about cravings and binge eating, and why binge eating is not your fault. I know that most of us are taught that if you have a craving, that has to do with a lack of willpower, and that if you give in to that craving, you are a weak person, and that is why you maybe gain weight or are overweight. And if you could just stop yourself from having all these cravings, that would be how you could prevent weight gain. And the thing is, anytime you do any sort of restriction, so even if you have healthy intentions behind it like I have, and you follow some sort of a diet, whether that's something like paleo or keto or vegan or clean eating, right? You may have the absolute best intentions, and yeah, those are all really healthy foods, but when and if your body starts having cravings, that's really not your fault. And so what happens is we go on these protocols with the best intentions, and you start following it, and you're super pumped about it, and then the cravings set in. And maybe in the beginning you're able to resist those cravings, but over time it gets harder and harder, and eventually you give in and you binge, right? So when you binge, again, I'm putting binge in air quotes for a reason. You think that, wow, I'm such a weak person. Yet again, it's all this guilt and shame around food. And realistically, that has absolutely nothing to do with your willpower. And the reason is, anytime you have a craving, it is for a reason. Yeah, so the more restrictive your dieting gets, the more you're going to crave all the things that you deem unhealthy. And then you'll tell yourself, okay, so I just can't even have these things in the house, and that's what I need to do to prevent myself from binge eating these things. Let me tell you guys a little story. When I finally realized that I had a problem, I was doing great with keeping things out of my house that I knew I would overeat when I got tired or emotional, or let's just say it, plain hungry, and I didn't want to eat another plate of chicken and broccoli. So I kept those things out of the house, even things like almond butter, peanut butter, any type of, even if it was paleo crackers or bread, I would keep all that stuff out of the house. And then what I started noticing is that I would get up in the middle of the night and literally eat pieces of cooked chicken or turkey or pre-cooked butternut squash even. And so I would get up the next day feeling frustrated and going, okay, I need to stop doing this. I've got to have more control. So then I started to put those things in the freezer, saying that when I was ready to eat the next day, all I had to do was reheat those foods. And I thought, this is a win-win. There's no way in heck that I'm going to end up having any problems now. Believe it or not, I got up in the middle of the night and started eating frozen turkey, frozen pieces of butternut squash. I would literally just let them like thaw in my mouth. I know, that sounds completely disgusting. But that was, I had literally used whatever willpower I had left to get those other things out of my house, and my body was telling me, hey, Jesse, Mighty Mouse, I need calories, and I need them in any way I can get them. And that was the only way that I could get food, was the frozen stuff that I had. I couldn't control it anymore. And I remember I woke up the next day crying to my dad saying, I just don't understand why I don't have enough willpower to control this. I know. That sounds completely crazy. But the same thing can happen to you with anything, whether that's pizza, ice cream, whatever it is that you think you tend to binge on. If you are binging on it, ask yourself this question. As you are binging, you're eating a lot of that food all at once. Are you feeling guilty? Are you feeling like you shouldn't be doing that? Is your heart racing? Are you wondering when somebody's going to walk in the room and catch you? Yeah. That has nothing to do with willpower. This is literally your body's way of telling you that you have been restricting for too darn long. I know, it's not what we're taught, but if you start to give into those cravings without guilt, and you say, you know what, if I want pizza today, I'm going to let myself have however much I want, and anytime I want it, the fact that it's not off limits, when all foods are on the table, you won't want them as much because you'll know that you're allowed to eat them whenever you want to. And I know that sounds oversimplified, but I'm telling you guys, this is the only thing that gets you to feel like you can eat normally without cravings and binges. And when you start letting yourself have all those things that you have craved for so long and that you found yourself binging on in the middle of the night, or when you're home alone, or in your pantry eating in the dark. I mean, I've known tons of women who have done this exact same thing, and they just continue to tell themselves that it's their fault, and it's really not. It's your body telling you that it needs something. When you do give in to those cravings and you say you don't tell yourself how much you can have, and you remove the ideas in your mind of how much a portion size is, those cravings will go away. I promise you. It sounds really scary, but it really does work, you guys. And this has been the only thing that has started to work for me. And you guys know, like I've said, I've still been struggling with an eating disorder for a really long time. And one of the hardest things to get over is my fear of all these foods that I've told myself are bad and that I've read that are bad for me and will cause weight gain and health problems, and none of that ever worked. And I spent 15 years of my life being afraid of eating and ending up binging on frozen butternut squash. I mean, come on. So, you know, you guys just have to try it, you know. So the next time you have a craving, tell yourself, okay, I realize now that this is not my fault that I have this craving, so I'm going to give into it. No guilt, no restriction. If I end up eating a lot of it today, it's okay. The more you guys allow yourselves to do it, in the beginning, you might end up, I hate using the word binge, but you might end up eating a really large amount. But over time, as you allow yourselves to do it more, you won't want it as much. And yes, at first you're going to crave all the things that you have restricted for a really long time. But once they become a regular part of your life, you will crave a balance. You will then want, you know, chicken and vegetables and some healthy fats and carbs, and then sometimes you'll want pizza or you'll want ice cream, and that's totally okay because it will be all in balance. So if you are feeling bad about binging and you're experiencing cravings, you guys have got to try this. Please let me know the experiences you guys are having. If you have more questions, if it's feeling scary, reach out to me, ask me questions. I want to help you guys. Which brings me to the topic of finding your, what is called your set point weight, which basically just means your body has an ideal shape and weight that it wants to be. And when you keep screwing with that through diets and restriction and over-exercise, your body craves balance, homeostasis so much that it will continue to try to make you stay at a same weight. And when you do more stuff and you diet down and then you gain weight back, that set point can actually temporarily change and increase to the point where you don't even know where your body's supposed to be anymore, and it feels harder and harder to maintain your weight without some form of restriction or extreme exercise. If you have all things in balance and your nutrition is in balance and you listen to your body and you give it what it wants, you exercise when you have energy and you give your body rest when it's telling you that it needs it, your body over time, I'm not saying this happens overnight, especially the longer you have messed with all of this, over time your body will find where it wants to be naturally, and you won't even have to try to maintain that. You will have energy to exercise because you're getting enough. And the way the body works, when, let's say you have had a day where you overeat, most perfect example is Thanksgiving. Most people eat a really big meal, bigger than they would normally eat on a daily basis on Thanksgiving. If you don't mess with that, and you don't compensate, you don't try to cut calories before or after, you don't do a crazy amount of exercise to compensate for that, your body naturally will probably not be as hungry the next day. You will feel hotter, which means that your metabolism is naturally cranked up, and you will move more without even realizing it, and your body will naturally start to burn off those calories, and you'll feel hungry again when your body's ready to eat. The problem is that we tell ourselves, oh, I'm not supposed to eat that much, and oh, I was supposed to have this much of this, so that means that I'll restrict at this meal, or I'll skip breakfast tomorrow. You know, if you happen to wake up the next day and you're hungry, then eat. Your body is smart. Like I said in the last video, your body will tell you what it wants. It will tell you what it needs. And I know it takes time to get back in touch with that because we're not really taught intuitive eating. you got to get back to the way it was when you're a little kid, and at least for most of us, when you ate when you were hungry, you stopped when you were satisfied, and you knew that if you got hungry again, you could go back and eat more, or you could go back and have a snack. There weren't rules like there are now. So if you just get back in touch with your body, it will find the perfect, I hate the word perfect too, the weight that is right for you, the body that is right for you. And then when you have all that in balance and you have the energy to exercise, you can do whatever kind of exercise you want that helps to shape your body a little bit to, like I said in my last video with weight training, which I totally believe in. But you won't have to fight it so hard. And no, we're not all going to have the ideal, whatever society tells us is the ideal body type. No, we're not. Not all of us are born that way. We're not all given the same body at birth. So embrace the one that you have that's natural to you. Listen to it and make it the best version of you that you can, because there's only ever going to be one you in the world, and that's pretty awesome. As corny as that sounds. I mean, think about it. There's never going to be another you in the world, so why would you want to be like somebody else? Anyway, that's all I have to say about that, and now I'm going to give you guys a recovery update. Let's go over the positives first, shall we? So one of the things that I had been experiencing a lot in the last 2 years was pain in several of my organs. So I had a lot of pain in my gallbladder and my liver, no matter what I did. I tried to cut fats for a while because sometimes fats can be hard to digest when your gallbladder and your liver are acting up. I was taking all kinds of supplements to help them detox and flush out. I mean, I cut all kinds of stuff out of my diet to try to help with that. I was suffering from kidney pain, specifically in my right kidney, and I did have a kidney stone in September of 2017. Like I said before, horrible experience, most painful thing I've ever been through. My stomach itself would regularly hurt and feel bloated and gurgly and felt like there was a rock sitting in it a lot. That I rarely feel that anymore, surprisingly, since I'm eating a lot more carbs than I have in a long time. My kidneys don't hurt, my liver doesn't hurt, my gallbladder just a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. I'm noticing that my moods are already improving, and this is just 2.5 weeks into recovery, so that's really awesome. Oh, my ring finger on my left hand. So this would have been about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. My left hand accidentally got slammed in the door when I was trying to bring some groceries in, and I'm not sure if it broke it or not, but my finger was really swollen and sore, and even just about within about 4 weeks ago, I remember putting pressure on it like this, and that would still hurt. Ever since I started to eat more and allow my body more food, more nutrients, the pain is gone. It's still a little bit hard and maybe a little swollen, but the pain is gone. And that's just crazy to me. It's amazing how fast the body heals when you start feeding it enough. I have fewer cravings, which is so amazing because, like I said, I've been allowing myself to eat carbs again and some fruit and peanut butter and some some pure maple syrup, and I'm just floored that I am not, once I allow myself to have them a couple times, and then it might still kind of sound good, but it's not this like craving, this crazy craving that I have. So it's really cool to have this freedom around food that I don't think I've ever had since I was a little kid, and it just makes me feel like You know, I've said for years, I know there's what is normal, right? But I've been saying to my loved ones for years, I just wish I could be normal and eat normal. I can eat more food in one sitting than I've been able to in years. I thought I was just one of those people that could only eat bird-like portions before I would get full. And I would watch other people eat, and they could eat a lot of food, at least to me. Everybody's idea of what a lot is different. And I would always be so jealous because I wanted to actually sit down and enjoy my food, and I would get so full so easily. So that's been really cool. Like I said, like bloating was one of my worst symptoms, and now that's almost gone. So now let's talk about the things that I'm struggling with. I'm not checking my weight whatsoever. I don't want to know. The only thing that's going to do throughout this process is make me feel bad about myself, and that's the last thing I need. But I can tell that I'm definitely putting on some weight in my midsection, which is to be expected. When you're healing from an eating disorder, a lot of the calories that you're eating go to your stomach and your organs in order to heal them, and you swell up with a lot of water retention. And I know that's a good thing, doesn't mean it's easy to deal with. I'm just being real with you guys. But definitely struggling with that, so I'm trying to just wear baggy clothes and just accept that this is just part of the process, and that I know it will go away, but it's never fun to deal with weight gain, because that's one of the reasons that those of us that have eating disorders started it in the first place. So some days are worse than others. I would say more often than not, I've been doing pretty well with just reminding myself that this is part of the recovery process and that it will go away. I just have to give it time and trust my body. My appetite is all over the place. Some days I am not as hungry, and then I go through periods of what in eating disorder recovery is called extreme hunger. And that's just your body going, holy crap, all of a sudden you're giving us food. I want as much as I can possibly get right now because I don't trust you to give it to me regularly. And so you'll literally, if you haven't experienced this, you'll get so hungry that you'll eat these, what you think is like a healthy, normal size portion, and you'll still be hungry for more after that. So it's a little bit scary, but again, trusting in the process. I do have stomach pain sometimes in between meals. I'm trying new foods that I haven't had for a really long time, so my body doesn't really know what to do with those things. So sometimes I am in a lot of pain and I have to lay down. Sometimes I have to take some enteric-coated peppermint oil capsules because they help calm your intestines. They help calm indigestion, bloating. So that helps. But it is a little frustrating at times, and it's tough for my orthorexia mind to not kick in and go, oh, see, it's because you ate those new foods that you feel like this. But you know, I've been telling myself that for years, and that never got me any better. So I am going to trust in the process that my body just needs to relearn how to digest those foods properly again. I am still struggling with some fatigue as well. I know again that means that my body is sending all these calories toward healing my organs, my thyroid, my adrenals, etc. And so there isn't a whole lot of energy left over for me. And that's a good thing right now because rest is the only thing that's going to help me to recover. And as much as, you know, being a personal trainer, and I love working out when I feel good and I miss it like crazy. But this is short-term sacrifice for long-term happiness in life. And so I'm making that sacrifice so that I can live the life that I want to throughout the rest of my whole life. So dealing with some of that. And then I guess the last thing I would say is I've still got those food fears. If you saw my Instagram story today, I talked about this. I went to the grocery store and told myself I'm going to try to challenge myself to buy some of my fear foods. And it gives me a lot of anxiety right now. I walk through the grocery store and I have a craving for something that I want. And because of that eating disorder still in my mind, it says, no, you can't buy that because that's not healthy. And you need to give your body what's healthy. And you're a weak person or a bad person if you buy these things. And so I'm definitely doing my best, challenging more and more things all the time. It's scary to recover. You know, you've taught yourself the same things for years and years. So to go against that, it's almost like it becomes like a religion. You know, when that's what you believe with all your heart and soul, it would be really hard to just tell yourself to stop, you know. So it is causing some unexplained. To those of you who aren't going through this, I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but you just have to think of it like any other. We all have fears, so any other fear, a lot of times they're irrational. I know this is completely irrational, and the only way that I can get rid of this eating disorder is to challenge those food fears. Even if I don't want to eat those things every day, eventually it shows me that those things aren't going to kill me, and that if I am out with friends or with family or on a date, I can eat those things and enjoy them from time to time. And that's perfectly normal, just like I was telling you guys when you have cravings. So that's an update, and yeah, we'll keep on trucking, and I'll update you guys very soon.
Hi. Can I pet you? Oh, it's a good baby girl. And sniff me. Can I have a kiss? Oh, I want to be petted. Can you say hi to everybody? Hi, everybody. I'm Oreo. You're so cute. Oh, that's such a good girl. To all of you people that aren't cat people, you're missing out, because cats can absolutely be affectionate and loving, right? Baby? Right, baby? Right? Yes.